Hello people, my name is Talkster, and in this video I will show you the Shadow Priest DPS and Guide overview. Now there's a lot to go through, so first off we're gonna start off with the talents, then glyphs, and then we're gonna go with the rotations and boss fights so you can see how much DPS a Shadow Priest could pull in an instance, in a raid and stuff. So, the talents in the beginning, they've changed it so much. Instead of so many tabs and 3 different options with either you want to go Shadow, Discipline or Holy, you have 6 tabs. First spell is Void Tendrils. Summon Shadow Tendrils out of the ground, rotating up to 5 enemy targets within 8 yards for 20 seconds. Killing the tendril will cancel the effect. Now, there's been a lot of changes about this. In the beginning of Mists of Pandaria beta, these were unkillable. And in my opinion, that kind of felt like, you know, this is a thing I could spec in. But in this talent tree at this very moment, they put the most important spells in the same tab. Siphon. Summons a Siphon that stands in place for 10 seconds. The Siphons cast a Psychic Terror on a nearby enemy within 20 yards for every 1.5 seconds. Preferring anything attacking the priest, Psychic Terror causes enemies to flee for 30 seconds. Damage cost may interrupt this effect. It's not for 30 seconds. It says it's for 30 seconds, but it never really is, I mean. So, Dominate Mind is exactly like Mind Control. Dominate Mind controls a mind up to level 93 for 30 seconds. Does not work versus mechanical beings. Now, as you saw, I control this being, but it wasn't for 30 seconds, so it was for very much less. But then again, this is the beta, so. Body and Soul. When you cast Power Word Shield or Leap of Faith, increases the target's movement speed by 60% for 4 seconds. Now, this was also a talent in Crank Calculus. Angelic Feathers. Place a feather at the target location. If allies walk through it, they gain 60% increased movement speed for 4 seconds. Only 3 feathers can be placed at one time. Accumulate an additional charge once every 10 seconds. This, I expect in this just because sometimes you have to move fast in raids, sometimes you must get to that exact position, so in my opinion with that tab it's the most essential thing. Phantasm works like when you fade, you remove all your movement impairing effects, from yourself. You become untargetable by ranged attacks, and your movement speed is unhindered for 3 seconds. From Darkness Comes Light, and the Power Word Solace, you have to really see who's the best. So, Surge of Darkness, periodic damage from your Vampiric Touch has 15% chance to cause your next Mind Spike to not consume your damage over time effects. Become instant cost no mana, and deal 20% additional damage. Limit 2 charges. So basically you can stack up to 2 charges. If it goes to 3, doesn't matter because that won't count. The thing is, from Darkness Comes Light, there's 2 options. You can choose that one, or you can choose Mindbender, or you can choose Power Word Insanity, and all those spells are kinda essential. Switching these around though can make the priest a bit OP maybe. Mindbender grants an improved version of Shadow Fiend that is substantially more effective at dealing damage and generating mana. This one, it's better than Shadow Fiend, but it's not the most essential spell in that just tab. Shadow Word Insanity consumes your Shadow Word Pain to deal 25k shadow damage to the target, only usable while the Shadow Word Pain has less than 6 seconds remaining. This is a good execute time for Shadow Word Pain. They no longer automatically refresh Shadow Word Insanity or Shadow Word Pain, so they kind of worked it a little bit, but I like it. Desperate Prayer instantly heals the caster for 30% of their total health. Survivability only. Spectral Guise. Your shadow blurs into the darkness, leaving your true form behind. As a shadow, you are stealth but remain in combat. Last 6 seconds until your true form is hit by 3 direct attacks. It's kind of a cool thing. He goes into kind of stealth, but another survivability talent tree is anytime a damaging attack brings you below 30% health, you gain an absorption shield equal to 20% of your total health, lasting for 20 seconds. This effect cannot occur more than 90 seconds. Twist of Fate. After damaging or healing a target below 20% health, you deal 50% increased damage and healing. This is also pretty good, but it's only for 10 seconds, which makes it, you know, not that good really. Power Infusion is a haste buff, infuses the target with power, increasing spell casting speed by 20% and reduces the mana cost of all spells by 20%, last 15 seconds. Shadow Priest does not have a problem with mana, just by the fact that they need to get hit cap, and Spirit is equal hit cap in Mists of Pandaria as well, so that's, you know, you should never have mana problems. Divine Insight, this one is something I really love. Periodic damage from your Shadow Word Pain has a 5% chance to reset the cooldown on Mind Blast, and it costs your next Mind Blast within 12 seconds to be instant cast, and cost no mana. I love this. Even though it's just 5%, you never know when it's gonna proc really, but it's all about chances with your talent trees. So I skipped the first talents, or the last talents in the talent tab, but I'm gonna go through that with the AoE rotation later on. The glyphs I use is Glyph of Inner Fire, increase the armor gain from your Inner Fire spell by 50%. Glyph of Dispersion, reduce the cooldown of Dispersion by 15 seconds. It used to be 45 seconds, but they've nerfed it by 30 seconds. There's not so many essential things, but Glyph of Shadow Word Death. Your Shadow Word Death can now be cast at any time, but deals 20% damage against targets above 20% health, and does not generate a Shadow Orb when used against them. Casting Shadow Word Death now also deals damage to equivalent to damage it would do to an enemy above 20% health. This now consumes a Shadow Orb, which is awesome. Glyph of Shadow, that's basically, you just reduce the kind of, like, you don't be so purple, I guess. Your Shadow Orbs now appear as ravens, which is pretty cool. When you apply Devouring Plague to target, you take on a form of a Dark Archangel for 8 seconds. This is neat, but they've removed the effect Archangel. Archangel is no longer in the game, and that's kind of depressing. So the only cooldown Priest has is Shadow Fiend, which is a bit sad. Archangel was really good at the point, but hopefully they're gonna balance things out with the cooldowns. Right now we don't have a huge burst in my opinion, but that might be changed when the Mists of Pandaria releases. Mind Flay, the glyph, your Mind Flay spell no longer slows your victim's movement speed. Instead, each time Mind Flay deals damage, you will be granted 15% increased movement speed for 5 seconds, stacking up 3 times. It's all about movement speed in this game, I feel like. Your Vampiric Embrace converts an additional 50% of the damage you deal into healing, but the duration is reduced by 5 seconds. This is really good. If you're like on 10% health, pop it, you will, like, your health is skyrockets up again, which is pretty good, and it's also good for like survivability, everything. Confession teaches you the ability Confession. Conceals a friendly target. Basically, he confesses to something. Shackle Undead, it changed the design of it, which looks pretty cool, but not something I would spec in. Your resurrection targets appears bathed in holy light for the duration of the resurrection cost. This is pretty cool. I can imagine, like, if 5 priests heals or arrest the same target, it's gonna be a big ass light. Or, anyways, I mean, you know, all these kind of things is kind of social, but also, you know, kind of neat into the game. Your shadow form extends to your non-combat pets, so you don't have to be purple yourself alone. Your pet can be with you. Now, the rotation. Yeah, let's go on with the rotation. It's basically the fun part of this video, I guess. So I'm gonna DPS for 2 minutes. My DPS won't be that great, but this is what I've been like theorycrafting a bit, which one to cast first. Like, spell priority is Mind Blast, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Insanity, Divine Plague, Vampiric Touch, and Mind Flay. This means that if Mind Blast is off cooldown before Shadow Word Pain, you pop Mind Blast. If Shadow Word Pain is off, it's like ran off, you refresh that before you pop Shadow Insanity, so forth and so on. The rotation I use is Mind Blast, Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, Mind Flay, Shadow Insanity, Devouring Plague. I deal around 18k damage. Then again, I have green items. This is not even heroic here. So the DPS I will have it's not that great. The thing is, like, with the burst and everything, like my Shadow Fiend, it's like you can pop it whenever, because I don't have any Intellect trinkets that can proc on use or anything. But like, this is 408 item level. The heroics at this very moment is 463, so it's a big difference when it comes to DPS. The spell priority I choose, why I chose it, because mostly the damage down, which one dealt the most damage, and I prioritized that. I kinda ignored the fact that some things share global cooldowns with others, but I hope this like really helps you out in Mists of Pandaria when it releases. Devouring Plague is okay at this very moment. Shadow Insanity is I mean, it's a new spell, I'm getting used to it, but it's really awesome at this very moment, and with a lot more spell power you will deal so much damage, and that is one of the reasons. Like, Mindbender and Shadow Insanity shares the same tab, so there's a reason why I took like Shadow Insanity instead of Mindbender, because Mindbender only deals damage for 15 seconds and then disappears. At the end of this video I will go through like my theories. None of them are like completely right or something, but you know, if you learn something from it, it's awesome. Okay, so the AoE rotation, it's all about positioning, basically. The positioning is very important. As you can see, I like targeted the middle one, because if I target the one closest to me, it would just deal damage to 2 targets. Then again, if you're bunched up with everything, it's gonna be easier. Divine Star finds a Divine Star in front of you, traveling 24 yards, causing 6k divine damage to all enemies and 6k to all healing to all allies within 6 yards of its path. After reaching its destination, it will return to you, also dealing damage and healing to all targets in its path. Deals spell shadow damage and healing while in shadow form. So that's pretty good that it does both in shadow form, so you don't break off. Cascade launches a holy bolt at the target that grows in power as it travels to an enemy, up to 19k healing to an ally. This effect can bounce from allies to other allies, or from enemies to other enemies. Each time it bounces, it will split into 2 bolts, preferring farther away targets and never hitting the same target twice. Cascade can bounce up to 3 times, deals shadow damage or healing while in shadow form. So then again, yes, you don't have to break off, like, you don't have to break off shadow form every time you do it, which is pretty good. Okay, so Halo creates a ring of holy energy around you that quickly expands and grows in power up to 30 yards, deals up to 39k holy damage to enemies and up to 39k healing to all allies. With the greatest effect at 25 yards, deals shadow damage and healing, so you don't have to jump out of shadow form. Yay, that's also good. It deals a lot of damage, but the cooldown on it, I mean, it's too big. Basically, it's 45 seconds, so you can use it like every minute or every 45 seconds, basically. So the rotation here is that I throw a Divine Star, I keep on doing mine here, and then I throw my Divine Star when I can, when it's off cooldown. The thing is, in Mists of Pandaria now, they've nerfed Mine Sear by 25%, which, like, that's a lot. So our AoE will not be that strong, but then again, we have Divine Star that covers up for some of that damage. Also, why I use Divine Star is basically it deals the most damage and it has the shortest cooldown, so it's kinda easy to like which one you will take. Also, the thing is, I guess it could be a little bit hard to hit the target sometimes. Like, for example, if you just stand right in front of the target, you will just hit that one target instead of everyone in the line. So position is key when it comes to Divine Star. Halo, it's not the same because it's all around you, so it's another thing with that. Same thing with Cascade. Now here's some testing where I tested like how much I can deal in AoE. In Cataclysm, it was around maybe 35k. Now I deal up to 30k to 50k damage, which is pretty good, and I'm guessing Divine Star does most of it. Now we have another Shadow Priest in the group, but I will come to that later. She has better gear than me, so if you're wondering why are she doing the better like DPS than you? So we're going for Houndmaster Brawn in Scarlet Monastery, Scarlet Halls I believe it's called. So I do my rotation, I pop Shadow Fiend, I do my thing basically, and she tops me in the meters, not by much, like 2-3k, but she has so much better gear than me. I am in full 408 gear, so I'm basically full green, no blues or anything like that, full green. So the rotation itself, like if I compare it to Cataclysm, the only thing is I like the changes, don't get me wrong. The Shadow Insanity is pretty fun to like mix around with. The only thing is that it can get screwed up with like the global cooldowns and everything, because you have to refresh it yourself now, Shadow of Pain. I don't do any AoE at all, just so you can see that single target DPS in a boss fight, like in a raid for example, when you have buffs and everything. I deal around 20k, 27k, at the end I will have like 29k. So there's like a big difference, like single target now deals a lot of, like, now that I full hero gear and everything, I deal around maybe 30k. But with hero gear as well, with raiding gear in Mists of Pandaria, you will deal so much more, and I'm really looking forward to the numbers you can pull as a Shadow Priest. Also, the thing is, you have kinda burst. Shadow Word Death grants you a Shadow Orb. You can use Shadow Word Death 2 times if the target is still below 20% health. That means instant Divine Plague costs, or, you know, almost. Like, Mind Blast, 2 Shadow Word Pain, 2 Shadow Word Death, sorry, and a Divine Plague, and that goes on and on and on and on until the boss is dead. So your DPS will scale up a bit at the end at that 20% health. So as you can see, she did 32k, I did 29k. But I actually checked her gear out, and I'm actually gonna compare the two right now. It's a difference. It's not the biggest difference, but she has some greens, she has most blues. She also has the legendary staff as well. I don't think it's gonna be so good in Mists of Pandaria. I mean, it cannot be. There's gonna be a legendary for all the classes, so probably not gonna use that when you're level 90. No, otherwise that staff is too OP. So I'm just checking around my hit chance. I couldn't get hit capped. It was impossible. So what I did was I forced everything to like spirit, all the things I could to spirit anyways, so I could get as close to hit cap as possible. The hit cap is still 17%, so don't worry about that. Then again, I don't have any chance because they didn't put that on the auction house, so there was some lack of stuff. I didn't use pots either, so I had around 13% hit chance, I believe. Now, the Theorycrafting behind this is quite easy. Now, yes, you can judge me. You can judge me like, oh, that's Theorycrafting is so bad, but either way, Theorycrafting. The Mindbender's cooldown is on 1 minute, and it remains in the fight for 15 seconds. And in under 1 minute, you can pop 4 Shadow Insanity. They also share the same talent tree tab. The question then is, which one will you choose? Duration 1 minute. Total damage by Shadow Insanity 227k. Duration 1 minute. Total damage by Mindbender 188k. I don't know. I do Theorycrafting from time to time, but this kind of thing, I don't know. To me, it's pretty basic that you take Shadow Word Insanity. I don't crit too much or deals too much damage because the gear I have is not, you know. Theorycrafting stat priority. Mastery DPS 19k, give or take, so 18k. Also had 2 master trinkets which buffed that a lot. Haste DPS 19.5k, give or take. Also had the same master trinkets. Critical 17k, give or take, had the same master trinkets as well. So the result is Intellect, Haste, spell hit cap, mastery, and crit. Crit is still the worst stats. So basically, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to check out my channel, it's in the top right corner, I believe. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I took my time into this, like Theorycrafted, really trying to bring you the most of what I could. And also, good luck with your Shadow Priest, and I'll see you guys next time.